All right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on another edition of Tour Guides Live, live on the campus of Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. Tonight, we are going to bring you an inside look at Alden Library on campus, and your host this evening is Andrea. Andrea, say hello to everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, tell us a little bit about yourselves and what is going to happen this evening.
All right, guys. So I'm Andrea. I'm a senior here at OU. I'm studying English through the Honors Toll College, and I'm from Columbus, Ohio. Today, I'm going to take you inside of our library and talk about that. Feel free to ask me questions, and I'm going to share everything about the library for a good 20-ish minutes. So this is my favorite part of campus as an English major, and I'm really excited to show it to you guys.
It sounds great, Andrea. And like she said, make sure you take the opportunity to ask us those questions. You can do so in the comments or the chat below. Thanks so much. Take it away, Andrea.
Alrighty, everybody. So right now we're at the entrance of the library on our second floor. I'm going to do a pan around to show you what the outside looks like. So this street right here is Park Place. We have a couple lovely buildings, like our two honors colleges. Their buildings are located here. Gordy's our foreign language building, and you might be familiar with Baker Center. If you've seen any of Brad's virtual tour guide tours of Baker Center, our student center is located just across the street from Alden. So like I said, I'm going to take us inside of the second floor right now. This is one of our ground entrances. Another entrance that we have is the fourth floor, and I'll be taking us there later. These are the two that are open right now to students during the pandemic, and I'm going to talk all about our different student resources on this tour now. So I'm going to go ahead and head inside. Apologies if my sound counts out for just a little bit. Thank you. Lots of lovely people in Athens helping me with doors today. So like I said, right now I'm on the second floor. I'm going to show you a brief little sign that opens up the second floor. This is our Academic Achievement Center. So this is one of the most important resources that we have in the library here. This is basically a lot of tutoring, our student writing center. This is a great job for students on campus. I know several friends that work in tutoring at our BAR, which is our Biological Sciences Resource Center, in the writing center. So of course, a job for students. And also, if you're finding that you need additional academic support, this is where we have all the resources. At the moment, they're virtual, but if you need them, of course, they'll be here in person very shortly coming to us. So a little bit more about our second floor. Like I said, this is the ground floor. The first floor is actually the basement. That's where I spend some time there looking at OU Press. I have an internship on campus. Oh, another thing I want to show you is our directory. So just kind of going into the different floors that we have, if anyone's reading along. And then I'll go back to talking about on the second floor. So we do have our help desk here on the second floor. So if you ever need to talk to a librarian or a student worker, you can come over here. We also have one of my favorites, Cafe Bibliothèque. So Cafe Bibliothèque is our coffee shop here. Fun fact, if you know, bibliothèque is French for library. So Cafe Library is basically what it's called. They've got really great hours during the school year, so you might not know, but the library is open 24/5 on the second and fourth floor. So that means you can come here anytime you want, Monday through Friday. If you want to come in at 2 a.m., that's your prerogative. And Cafe Bibliothèque has your back. They're going to be open for you really late into the evening. So if you need to grab a muffin, best muffins in Athens, I swear, are at the OU Culinary Services. So those are some of our some options for you while you're in the library. Again, second and fourth floor are open 24/5. Another thing that we have on the second floor is our multimedia center. So these are all Macs if you need to use them for things like Photoshop. I've actually hopped on this one just recently to use our Photoshop resource to Photoshop a picture for my internship. So if you're taking a class, you can use these also for your own personal use. And then we have other computers, desktops sprinkled throughout the library if you need to use these. Either if you don't have a computer of your own or if yours breaks, unfortunately. We've all been there. And then this is our printing center. You can use your Bobcat Cache to print. So that's something that you might need to know if you have to print out a paper for class or something. And we also, coincidentally, on the second floor over this way, you can see my finger, there it is. We have a little station where you can upload cache to your student ID, and that's what we call Bobcat Cache.
Okay, and Andrea, I want to let you know we are having a little bit of some static issues on your audio, and I like to think of it as just people applauding at home. So we do apologize. There's a little bit of some static in the background because of the composition of the library itself being a very large brick building. So we may have a little bit of spottiness in there, but I think we're doing pretty good overall.
Is there anything you want me to repeat, BJ, that you might have missed?
Maybe a little bit when you were talking with the Allen Center and those resources there. I just want to make sure, because those are so important. I want to make sure that everyone knows that. And are there costs associated with that? We lost you a little bit. You seem to have really good audio sound right now. So if you could go over that just a little bit.
So currently our writing center is free to students. So if you need our writing center, the biological resource center, and I believe that we're working to make tutoring free for students. So the way that we do it is that certain sessions free. Our first generation students get free tutoring, and we're working on making that so that it's built into tuition for all of our students. But at the moment, our writing center is definitely free for students, as well as the biological resource center. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, BJ.
You're doing great.
Alrighty, and so a couple other things that I wanted to point out about the Allen Center, in case you didn't hear, that's also where our advising is done. So if you meet with your advisor every semester before you schedule with classes, I sort of see it as like a check-in point to make sure that you're doing okay. They can also provide really great help for like internships or student orgs to join on campus, because a lot of the professors know what's involved in your major or your certificate. So that's a great way to sort of connect with professors on campus, just check in, see how you're doing. Do we have any questions about the Academic Advising Center or tutoring, guys?
Everyone, you're doing such a great job. No questions quite yet. So we will let you know as they come in. And if you are watching this live, do not hesitate to ask a question and in the chat below or the comments, and we will get that answered for you.
Alrighty, so right now I'm going to talk about our study rooms, because this is a resource that I use a lot. We have examples on the second floor right here that I'm looking at. So you can see that they have a whiteboard, and they also have TVs that you can project your presentation on. These are great if you have a group project coming up. What I like to do is just check out the study room myself. You can do 2 hours per person. So if you have a group of 10 in our regular years, you can, check it out for 20 hours at a time. That's a little extreme for a group project. I think it's more likely that you would have maybe 3 people. But you can check it out back to back. So you could get 6 total hours if you had 3 people in just one day. And then that's a great way to, let your group know that this is where we're going to meet. Like I said, you can project your presentation onto that TV right there. They got HDMI cords dangling down from it that will basically match to any sort of laptop you've got. And that's a great way to practice. And also, if you are just studying together, these are private. They're not completely soundproof, so don't get too crazy in there. But they're close to soundproof, and they do offer some privacy there. So giving another of all the space that we have on this second floor, this is just a great place as sort of a landing zone in between classes if you want to pop in and study here. And then if we're ready, I think I'm going to take us on up to the 4th floor. So BJ, would you mind riffing for a bit as I head upstairs? I did my cardio in advance for this, but I won't make you.
We do have a question that's coming in. And it was, is it free to check out one of those study rooms?
Yes, it is completely free to check out one of the study rooms. Sorry, someone just banged a door, so I wanted to say that again. Completely free to check out the study rooms.
And I know we've used that with our tour guides and other student activities as well. So they are great resources and again, free to use for students. So great. And I will say, as Andrea is walking up the stairs, you can kind of see in the background lots of information there. One of the great things that Alden does is they change those displays in the stairways. So as you go up and down them throughout the year, they do change the information and the pieces that are there that you can see. Lots of great stuff with a theme from time to time. I remember one of my favorite ones that I was walking through there had notable alums from Ohio University and the contributions that they had made. So that was always something interesting to look in the library, even if you're just going down the stairs. Why don't you take a second to talk about that one big sign that talks about the collab? Can you explain to everybody what that might be?
Yes, perfect segue, BJ. All right, so our collab is located on the 3rd floor of the library, and this is a great spot to sort of get involved in some group work with people who aren't in your classes. So you might think, Andrew, why would I want to do a group project with people I'm not in a class with? But the collab is great because it really fosters this innovation. So you can head to the collab, start to meet people. Sorry, ma'am. Let me just move my camera a bit. There we go. So the collab is a great spot if you want to meet new friends. You can work on a project together. There's even some money there for someone who comes up with a really great innovative idea. As you can see, the key tenets of the collab are creativity, entrepreneurship, and innovation. So all of that ties together to a really cool space. For one, you can just study and meet new people, but you can also get started working on an entrepreneurship idea. And then to kind of reiterate again what BJ said about these cool posters, these are all from our special collections in Alden. And I love the special collections located on our 5th floor. I've done some really cool research there. We have a lot of OU history, but also a lot of history in general. So if you're interested in history or old books, that's definitely your place to be in Athens. I just realized I was holding my phone like over the stairwell. That was a little nervous. It was a little nerve-wracking right there. All right. Do we have any questions, BJ?
Let me double check. Is it free? Nope, just the one about the study room. So you're still doing a great job.
Awesome. Thank you. So right now I'm back to the 4th floor. So I'm going to take us on a quick little rotation of what this looks like. This is another one of our main help desks. So this is where you would check out books. And the great thing about Alden is that we don't just have access to the Alden collections on the 6th and 7th floors. We also have resources throughout Ohio. So we're part of a system called OhioLink, which connects us to several libraries in Ohio, and they will actually ship the books here to you. So if you don't have a book in our Alden collection that you need, you can have it shipped from OhioLink, and it's here within 3 to 5 business days. So I've definitely used that a lot for group projects or research projects. Alrighty, so let's talk a little bit about picking up books. We also have these posters are from the year 2020 when we had our anniversary of the 19th Amendment being signed. We put out some stuff from our special collections into these cabinets, and I really like that we sort of kept that up. And now I'm just going back throughout the 4th floor. Again, this is one of our group floors. So it's a little bit more talkative. You can see that we've got our desks. We've got a lot of spaces where you can either work individually, or we have these big tables over this way, currently roped off for safety reasons, but they're great to use if you want to study in a group. And then again, the 4th floor just goes all the way over here. I'm going to try and take us to a window so we can see a view. So this looks out to College Green over here. And at the moment, 4th floor is pretty quiet, so I'm going to head out to more of a loud area so I don't disturb any of our students who are hard at work. So I mentioned earlier that our stacks on the 6th and 7th floor are where most of our books are located. That's also one of our really quiet studying spots. So I find that everyone has different sort of studying preferences. I personally prefer things like the 2nd, the 4th floor, or the 3rd floor where our collab is because it's a lot louder. If you can't tell, I kind of like to talk, kind of like attention. But if you're someone who studies best in silence, the 6th and 7th floors might be a really great option for you. I have friends who say they write their very best papers out there. So that's a great option. I think that sometimes you might get a side eye if you even open a bag of chips. So it can be a little bit uncomfortable if you're sort of snackish like me. But other people will find that, like I said, they do their best work up there because they can really sort of crank out their papers. There's little desks up there. And like I said, that's where most of the books are. So it can be a really nice space to study. So I believe I've talked about every floor at this point. And I've talked about some of my favorite resources in the library. Another thing that I want to mention is our subject librarians. So I think that this is something I didn't know about coming into OU as a freshman. So we have a librarian that's paired with every one of our majors. So they know all of the resources that the university has and that the library has already purchased for these majors. So for example, I met with my subject librarian to talk about researching authors from the 18th century, and she showed me some of the databases that the university had already subscribed to, where I could find information like reviews of books published in the 1800s and biographies of authors from the 1800s. And that was a really great resource because it wasn't something I knew about. So it also helped me in that way in getting my research done. You can come to them with any research question. They just ask that you sort of come with a resource, a journal article or a book that you've already found. And then from there, they'll help you develop your research. So like I said, amazing resource if you're doing a long research paper, or if you're just struggling to get started on a research question. They love to talk to students, and they all have done advanced work in their fields, so they know how to really sort of generate a good research paper or research topic. All right, BJ, do we have any questions so far? Anything you want me to say? Did I cut out anywhere?
I was muted. No, you're doing a great job. We do have one more question that has come in, and where is Alden located on campus? Where is it? It's pretty easy to find once you get to campus, but if someone hasn't been here in a while or they're not sure, where are you right now?
Yeah, I think the easiest way to describe it is I'm just kind of right in the middle of campus. I'm going to take us outside real fast to show us College Green, because I think that might help with some familiarity if you've never seen Alden before. So this is outside the 4th floor of Alden, and you can see the back of College Green here. So some of these buildings might look familiar to you, including this one right here. If you've ever seen this on any sort of OU merch, basically, this is Cutler Hall. This is our oldest building on campus. This is where our president's office is. And like I said, this is the oldest building. So this is where the students used to eat, sleep, go to class, all of the above back in the 1800s. So Alden Library is right on the other side of this building. And like I said, this is our 4th floor here. Otherwise, I pointed out at the beginning of the tour that Baker was outside the entrance to our 2nd floor. So we're kind of straddled in between Baker and College Green, if that helps give you an idea of where we are.
That was a great explanation of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, we'll give everyone a couple of minutes to ask any last minute questions, but I think you've done a great job taking us through. And I will say, when I was a student back in the 1900s at Ohio University, the library looked a little bit different. And as it evolves and changes to the times, I think it's great. And that's one of the great things that Alden has been able to do, is evolve through the years to meet the needs. And it's still very relevant on campus today, and a utilized resource, a very important and very utilized resource. And I thought it was great when you were talking about the subject librarians. That's something that not a lot of people know about. And so as much as we can talk about that and get their knowledge base out there is a great thing. So I appreciate you that. Oh.
Of our subject librarians. Honestly, I've talked to them about life advice as an English major. We sort of have related fields, but they're also a great resource for literally every student, because we have a subject librarian for every major.
Yeah, it's absolutely great. It's a great program. We did have a COVID related library question. And you may or may not know this. Are the study rooms available for more than one person right now, or are they socially distanced? Utilizing those spaces currently?
Yeah, you might have seen a sign when we went to go see the subject library, see the study rooms. That might be where that question came from. Currently, only one person can be in the study rooms. At least the couple that I saw, they were our smaller study rooms. We do have some that are a bit larger, so they might be more than one person. But at the moment, most of our study rooms are going to be one person in there.
And the only thing I would add to that is that we have kept referring to Baker University Center on this tour. There are some a little bit larger spaces for more than one student at a time to utilize in Baker University Center at this time. That have been set aside for students to work together as they are available throughout the day as well. So a little bit more, not entirely Alden related, but definitely Alden adjacent,
Yes.
literally and figuratively. So, all right. Well, I don't see any other questions coming in. So if you want to go ahead and just wrap it up, and we'll close out this edition of Tour Guides Live.
Alrighty, thanks so much everybody for joining me on touring one of my favorite places in Athens, Alden Library. I hope you got an idea of some of the great resources that we have here for students, from everything from books to tutoring to study spaces, and I really hope that you're able to join us on campus soon.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great time. Hope to visit soon.